Welcome to another 7 Minutes of Impact. Today we have Jeff Manchester from Intrepid. And Jeff, can I get you to start by giving us what do you do and who do you do it for and what makes you unique?
Thanks, Luke, and great to be here. So my name's Jeff Manchester, and I'm one of the two co-founders and a director of Intrepid Travel. We are an adventure tour operator. We run tours. We're not a retail travel agent. We run tours all around the world. We source our customers from about 40 countries, and we take them to 116 different countries around the world.
Cool. And how do you explain the positive impact that your business creates?
The way we explain it, especially at the moment, is about connection. And we've all got our devices. We can all find out any bit of information about anything in the world at the moment, and we're all so connected. But it's definitely been identified that people lack connection. And what we want to do is provide connection with people, and provide connection with people through traveling to new places, traveling with a local group leader, making connection with other travelers, with local communities and their culture, and coming away feeling like more open-minded, more worldly, and ready to face the realities of everyday life, I guess.
Awesome. And how did that begin?
So Intrepid began way back in 1989, and it began because Daryl, my business partner, and I, we were backpackers, and backpacking's not the easiest thing to do. And we thought, what do people do for their travel life if they're not confident enough to go backpacking? Do they just have to stay in resorts and do boring bus tours of Europe? And we felt someone should offer a style of travel which was like backpacking, except it was organised. And so that's what we do. So we travel to countries using local public transport as much as possible, staying in small, locally owned hotels and guest houses, and trying to give people an experience of the country as it really is, not being a tourist isolated in a Hilton hotel.
So an authentic experience.
A very much authentic experience. And then we do things like homestays with local people, cooking classes and having meals with people so that they're really experiencing and talking to local people to hear about how they live, what's good and bad about their life, and open their eyes to other cultures.
And of course, benefiting the local economy rather than having it sucked out by a big organization.
That's a really important part of it, because tourism has this issue that tourist destinations often spend a lot of money bringing tourists into their country, like importing buses and, believe it or not, importing food. And there's no need for that. So we're utilising, transport that already exists, and we're spending time and money with people who may not otherwise be involved in tourism. And so it's hugely beneficial to thousands of little businesses around the world.
Yeah, so incredibly impactful for the destinations themselves. What challenges have you encountered in that model?
Look, the challenge is keeping it authentic and creating the experiences. So if we decide that we want to go to a new country, you can't necessarily do those things straight away. And it takes a little while to meet the right people and develop the trust and be able to create the experiences which people are really going to enjoy. So that's a small challenge. But, there's lots of other challenges around climate change, which is huge at the moment, and political issues and not being able to travel to lots of countries around the world at any one time. But I guess we've learned to overcome those things. And at the moment, people are traveling to Israel or Ukraine or Russia, but we have lots of alternatives for them to travel to.
So this impact that you're creating with these local economies and your travelers, can you share an impactful story that really illustrates one of the changes that you've made?
Yeah, sure. So Burma or Myanmar, we're not traveling there at the moment, but this is a really good story a really good and bad story of how it can happen. So we came across 3 villages in quite a remote part of Myanmar who were interested in being involved in tourism. And so we spent quite a lot of time working with them and through a not-for-profit organisation, talking to them about what it is that they'd like to benefit from tourism, what they'd like to do in tourism, and at the same time telling them about the sort of activities we need to be able then to provide that our customers would enjoy. And then the NGO, which was Action Aid, they train the local people in how to present to tourists and how to talk to them, and they helped them build a very basic guest house so that we could stay there. And so then we took our customers there for 2 nights and 2 days of activities. And, they might go and do something out in the farming areas with the group, or they might do a bike tour of the local area, or do a cooking class. And our customers loved it. And what's really important about it is that the whole of these 3 villages were involved, not just 1 or 2 families. So lots and lots of people benefiting from it. And it was really successful. And then, of course, the government heard about it. And so government ministers wanted to come up and see these villages. And the way a country like that works, that if ministers come there, they will give the villages money for development. So they were getting money from us coming a couple of times a week. They were got money from the government, so they were able to develop their villages. Mm. And also the local the Burmese Tourist Guide Training Institute started taking their students there to learn about how tourism can work, and showing the new trainees that. So really hugely beneficial to us and hugely beneficial for the local communities. Yeah.
A cool ripple effect. That's awesome.
Ripple effect, yes.
Yeah. So impact is great when you see that tangible result within the communities that you're aiming to serve. What some effects that are doing this in the world have had on your business and the people within it?
Look, I think the effect on our business is that our people get a huge reward in seeing that happen. And, we might take a lot of people to a city like Hanoi or Delhi, and that's really great. But you don't see that, you don't have that community interaction in big cities. Mm. And so to see the benefit to these small communities, and to see that our customers really enjoy it, our people love that, and that makes them engaged and makes them really appreciate what Intrepid's doing, and motivates them to try and find other places.
Yeah, awesome.
We have 30 businesses around the world which operate our tours, and one business will see, our business in Peru might see what's happening in Burma, and they'd say, we've got to do something like that as well. So, and recently I was in Peru, and we had an event, and we had all these local communities, indigenous communities, come along, and they were all wanting photos with me and giving me presents, because they've been working with us for 10 to 15 years, and they get a lot of benefit from it.
Yeah. Just to put some 30 businesses, how many travelers are you helping with these experiences on our annual?
So last year we carried 120,000 people on our tours, which is a bit mind-boggling as to how that happens, but we did. So Intrepid is the biggest adventure tour operator in the world, and the biggest tourism B Corp.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I love that scope of experiences, but also the micro experience itself and how authentic that is and the benefit that has. So looking forward, what do you see as future goals for making a difference for Intrepid?
Personally, I love the idea of more people traveling in the Intrepid style rather than doing mainstream tourism, because a lot of mainstream tourism isn't impactful and it has negative benefits on local communities. And what we're doing is the antithesis of that. And so being able to grow, I think, and do what we do more is really important. And especially, as I was saying, with this thing of people needing social connection, it's important. And also people needing to get back to nature. And so we're doing more walking tours and more tours in remote areas, because there's a demand for that sort of thing. So definitely no lack of scope for ideas for us to grow.
Yes, and more people experiencing connection to people, to communities, to nature.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Chain. That's awesome. What advice would you give somebody that is looking at this, doesn't necessarily have it baked into their business yet, but they're now inspired to create a positive change? What advice would you give them?
I think to look at what you're doing strategically and what really interests you, and see if you can align those sorts of things. And I guess not necessarily just you, but everyone in your business. So talk to your business about, what's important for people and how you can align that with the business and invest in that, which will cost a bit of money, but any investment in those sorts of areas comes back to be beneficial in the long run. And, it might be something like human rights. It might be a human rights issue, which is really big for people in your company, but getting involved in an issue will really get your people engaged, and it'll help your brand and possibly your profile if you get some PR. Just over the years, we've seen so many instances of all those things benefiting that our mantras now growth with purpose.
Yep.
And, at the moment we spend something like 0.5% of our turnover on purpose, but that'll be increasing to 1% by 2030 because we just see the benefit all the time.
Yeah, awesome. Where can people find out more about Intrepid and the good work that you do?
Oh, just online at intrepidtravel.com. There's lots of information there about our purposeful activities and what we do, and things like, we have an open source guide to impacting climate change in your business, which anyone can download. So there's lots of really great stuff on the website.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We are very inspired by the work you do and continue to be. I love seeing your annual reports come out. They're refreshing and inspiring. And those of you tuning in, if you're inspired, take action. You don't have to know everything yet. Just do something. And if you want more, follow along, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. Until next time, be unapologetically awesome. Bye for now.